known female composer, Hildegard. So first, just some background on the time period she lived in. So she lived in the 12th century, otherwise known as also known as the High Middle Ages. And in that time period, both secular and religious music existed. One of the more popular forms of music was the Gregorian chant in the Catholic Church. And certain systems of music notation were created, but they had their limits. Things like rhythm weren't even notated until the 13th century. And most notably to her, women did not typically write music. There was a male domain in the area of music. So for her general life, she was born in 1098 to a family that was free lower nobility. And so at a young age, she had religious visions, saying that God was speaking to her, and then she was enclosed in a monastery, which likely started the process of her compositions as she studied music there. And she would then go on to have one of the largest repertoires known among all known medieval composers.
So now let's talk about some of her significant pieces and contributions to music. So the first one is called Ordo Virtutum, which also means play of the virtues. You may not have heard of this, but it was very significant because it's the oldest surviving music drama that was not for church use. And here's a clip of it. So that was Ordo Virtutum. And the other piece, and there's a lot more, but the other work is called Symphonia. And this was actually a large repository of songs. And all of these songs were written to go with the religious text that she wrote. So this kind of shows the impact of her music on her other works, like for the church. She also had significant contributions to the church. She pushed many boundaries for women in the church as well as in the field of music. And one of her works was called Scipios, and it talks about 26 of her visions that she had, which she interpreted as messages from God. And it was her first major work for the church. And she also made significant contributions in medicine. She was named Doctor of the Church and was one of only 4 women to receive that title. And she created the field of holistic healing based on nature and spiritual energy, and that's a medicinal practice that's still in use today. Finally, she also made significant academic contributions. She was considered the founder of scientific natural history in Germany, and she created her own alphabet and language with 23 letters.
So why was she relevant? She was the first female composer, even though she lived at a time where women roles in the arts were very minimal. But her position as an abbess allowed her to compose and record her works, which set her apart from many contemporaries. Why was this important? She was breaking many gender norms. Since women were largely excluded from formal music education and composition, her stance as a composer helped lead a path for many female composers everywhere. So next time you hear a woman composer, you can thank Hildegard for setting the path for female composers everywhere. Thank you.